All right. Welcome back to the Board Drill Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Kyle Bradburn. With me is my co-host, Matt Dixon. Tonight, we have a special guest, Coach Michael Rubino, who's the offensive coordinator and wide receivers coach at Heritage High School in Tennessee. Coach, welcome to the Board Drill.
How we doing, boys? Thanks for having me.
Got the intense crowd here tonight. No, Coach, we're excited to have you on tonight. Like I said, if you're listening in and this is your first time or you're still new to listening to the Board Drill, our mission is to help high school football coaches throughout the country, help educate them, help connect coaches is really one of our big missions. And so, Coach, we always love this. It was great. We interviewed a coach the other day, Coach Jones, and he tweeted about us, and then you said you saw it and then reached out to us, which we love. We're super excited about. So that's a fun way to get connected with coaches, and we love that.
That's exactly how it went down.
Well, it's perfect, Coach. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about condensed concepts on the offensive side of the ball, right?
Yep, exactly right. About in 2023, I think everyone spread it, especially in Tennessee, everyone got spread out. They ran downfield choice concepts, and that stuff was really good to us. And then going into the 23 offseason, it was like, okay, well, what can we do to be a little bit different in Tennessee? What are things that people aren't doing right now? Where we can kind of throw a wrench at these defenses that are everyone's sitting on the choice route and, taking that defensive Georgia film and running with that and trying to stop that Tennessee offense. So that's how we stumbled upon the condensed concepts.
Yeah, absolutely right. I guess it sounds like when Heupel got there, and Matt's a UCF guy, so he knows it, right? Everybody went to that wide splits, vertical choice, and
we saw the wave. We saw the wave of that here, 2018, 2019, 2020. And I was part
in the state of Florida.
I jumped in down here in Central Florida when they were here running it, and so it's funny to see it go up there, and now everybody's doing it up there.
Exactly right. It's great stuff. We had a lot of success with it, but I mean, like any offense, you always want to be evolving.
Got to adapt, right? And I think that's the cool thing that people are doing it. If you don't know and you're listening, Heupel's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And I know me and Matt have so many stories about it. I'll tell a quick one before we get into this.
Yeah.
Me and Matt go to the UCF clinic, right? Wasn't that when Hype and them just first got there, Matt, when we were there? We're at Oviedo, and so they're doing like the coaches social up in the box. And like everybody floods at, they ask questions, and Hype and his whole staff are there and they're hanging out, and they drop a keg and everybody floods out. And it's like just us, right, Matt, and maybe one other staff, and Hype walks in and goes, well, boys, we have a keg to finish and no one's leaving until it happens. And I just started dying laughing, and Matt looks at me and he goes, he's serious. We're going to have to drink this keg. So it was like 6 of us trying to float a keg. It was
awesome.
It was a fun afternoon, but a rough night, right?
He's a great dude. He's loved in Knoxville. The whole staff really is too. I mean, they're doing great things obviously here, and they got a big game this weekend, but everyone's pumped. Knoxville's pumped up, no doubt about it.
I keep forgetting about the playoffs this weekend, Matt. I think I'm so wrapped up in the FCS stuff that I forgot that FBS has playoffs now. So it's awesome. Well, Coach, all right, if they're listening, they're probably screaming right now, get to Condensed Sets. So if you're listening right now and you're mad, real quick, hit like and subscribe, and I'm going to give it over to Coach Rubino, and we're going to talk about Condensed Sets here.
All right, guys. Let me know if this share screen works.
All right, we had a little bit of computer difficulty there. We've got it sorted out. So without further ado, Coach Rubino, let's talk a little bit about the condensed concepts.
All right, so condensed concepts, again, we got to this after we went spread, wide, downfield choice concepts in 2023. That off season, I really dove into how can we be uniquely different, in Tennessee, especially Knoxville, where everyone is trying to, emulate Heupel. So really the two teams I really dove into, and, when I first jumped on here, we started talking a little NFL. I am a Bills fan, sorry to tell you. So watching the Miami Dolphins last year, man, it just blew me away. They had so much success running the ball in condensed formations with shifts, with different movements pre-snap. I had to dive into it. So that's where we got some of the ideas from. And then it was kind of like, well, what colleges are doing this stuff? And that led me into Texas 2023 film. Coach Sark, Coach Flood.
Almost could have called that one.
What's that?
I said I was thinking, I was going, that's Texas.
Yeah, it's Texas stuff. So Coach Flood and Coach Sark have been great to us, and they kind of opened the doors for us in the spring and let us go down there and pick their brain. So we had to take that opportunity. So just real quick, condensed formations are where receivers, tight ends, and backs are positioned closer to the offensive line. Why are we condensed? First thing, anytime you go condensed, I found, right? You get a high school linebacker yelling, "Watch for mesh." That's every single time. And at some point I was like, listen, we got to start running other stuff. It can't just be mesh. We know what they're going to do. So that's where we want to really take advantage of that. Cowboy DCs. Okay. I don't know if everyone else uses this term, but I call them cowboy DCs, is where they want to blitz from every other angle, everything possible. The blitz report on Sundays comes out and it's 25 pages. And you don't know what you're going to do or what you're going to get. I have found that if you're empty and super spread out or super condensed, that's when those DCs kind of get predictable. So it allows us to kind of dictate what kind of defense we can expect. And it kind of puts the DCs back on their heels a little bit. Number 3, the third reason is, you are going to find out if linebackers are going to play gap sound football. So it really puts a lot of stress on a high school football player to say, hey, you make sure you better fit this gap. If you don't, we could bust a long one here. So that's another reason why we've done it. And then like I said earlier, it's a great changeup, right? Like we still want to be spread. We still want you to, defend the whole football field. But then all of a sudden we get into a tight formation. Like you got to be prepared for that with us. You must be prepared. And if you don't, we're going to hurt you on it. All right. So here are the concepts we're going to go over tonight. Okay. And if Coach Acevet, he coached at Tennessee. He's the high school head coach at Heritage with me. We coached some junior ball together at Nassau Community College, and he brought me down here about 3 years ago. If you talk to Coach Acevet and you said, Coach Oz, what are our staple run plays? And the first 2 things he's going to tell you is outside zone and GY counter. And I say that because you can fit whatever you hang your hat on, you can fit it in condensed concepts and in your condensed formations, whether it's inside zone, outside, even duo is a great look and a great play, out of condensed formations. All right, we're going to go over a shovel tonight, and then the shovel pass, which you guys are going to love down on the +5. I'll show you I think the best defensive adjustment we saw, throughout the year. And then I'm going to get you guys with a couple, or one screen that we had a lot of success with that I straight up stole from Mike McDaniels, straight up. All right.
Well, we know that Matt's going to enjoy this because he's a big Dolphins fan,
right,
so he'll appreciate most of this tonight.
Yeah, so this stuff will look a little familiar to you. But yeah, McDaniels he's unbelievable. And that whole tree is connected, right? That whole tree is connected. Oh, yeah. So it's all good stuff. All right, so I'm going to get to the film now. You guys have any questions so far?
Nope.
No.
I love the term Cowboy DC. I kind of want to call myself that.
You just blitzing no matter what. I don't know who's coming, huh?
No, we know who's coming, but I do have a blitz for everything. And I've spent a lot of off seasons learning how to blitz empty, the wide splits, and the condensed splits. So
all right, well,
just because you have ruby red boots doesn't make you a cowboy there, Kyle.
I don't have any, but I would wear them if I did, Matt. I do not. I've never owned a pair of boots, in case anyone's wondering.
All right, awesome. Let me get down to our condensed stuff. Let's start with outside zone. Again, right? What does Texas want to do? What do the Dolphins want to do? They want to change the picture, right? That's the bottom line. They're going to change the picture pre-snap, post-snap. Okay, let me get my annotations off in case it gets colorful. I am a New Yorker at heart, so All right, so here we go. All right, so on the +20 here, what I found early on is that when we were going condensed, right, 2x2 condensed set, we were getting a lot of split safety looks, right? They want to defend mesh. They don't want to play you in man. So I said, all right, that's great. You're going to give a split safety. Well, we're going to change the picture on you, and we're going to add the extra hat. We're going to get into our outside zone, which we run really well. Okay, so again, this is exactly what I said. Like the linebackers got to fit gaps here. Okay, now an extra hat. Okay, so I'm going to pause it right here. Okay, and I'll give you guys a slow-mo from the tight copy. All right, and this pre-snap movement is really important because it's going to set up one of our best third down plays of the year. Okay, but as you can see, we're going to rip and run here with our linemen. Okay, wideouts are like a better block from number one there, even though he's one of our better blockers. We're just going to fit this thing up, right? And what's the old saying? Stretch and puncture. Stretch and puncture. When you have a back that can read it well, and from pound for pound, I think it's the best play in football, running the ball. Here's another look. There goes our motion again, right? Pre-snap motion. We don't have Tyreek Hill, but we do have some pretty smart players. So they can kind of get to where they got to get, right? Go block the corner. Corner doesn't know where to go. Safety doesn't know where to fit. We got another 9-yard gain there.
Yeah, Coach, back up real quick and talk to me real quick about the play side condensed receivers. What are their aiming points and who are they going to block? What's the teaching process there?
So here we go. So here's the tight end right here. Okay, we're in a 2x2 11 personnel set here. Okay, odd front because we live in SEC country, so everyone's going to be an odd front. I think 90% of the teams we saw this year were odd front, either a mint or a cub look. Okay, so 504 or 404. All right, our tight end is going to help chip on the end here, and then he's going to secure the box. Okay, so we essentially become +2 on the perimeter here because our tight end should be controlling the box here. Okay, and there's really no linebacker, so we're going to tell him to rip and run like he's a tackle. And really nothing shows. It's hard to see from the wide copy here, but nothing really shows. That's a safety 4. He doesn't come up and make the play. Outside receivers, I'm going to go back one here for you because it's a little bit better picture here. So again, here's our tight end to the right with an outside receiver. Okay, our tight end is going to be a box player here, a box defender here. Our first wideout is going to take the first thing that show. Our motion guy is going to take the next thing outside. If these corners and safeties want to run outside of us, we are totally fine kicking them to the sideline and getting into that stretch and puncture concept. Yeah. And our back does a great job just getting vertical here. I'll give you one more look. This is a good shot here, okay? Again, we're going to run this to the tight end side, right? Tight end should be a box player. No linebacker show. So we're ripping, running, and getting to the next level here. And obviously you can see it's a gash.
Wow. Oh, yeah. That's easy to read.
Yep. Yeah, that one's an easy one. That one's easy. If you missed that one, you're going to stand on the sideline with us. But all right, so let me
Coach, when you installed this year, did you install it out of a spread formation or something you'd been running in the past, or did you come out and install it out of the tight formation?
Well, outside zone's one of our best running plays last year, right? So I say that, but I mean, our best outside zone running play was quarterback outside zone out of unbalanced 12P. Okay, so but our linemen were great at it, So it was all about if we're gonna be condensed, we have to make sure the guys on the outside, the perimeter players, are going to be able to stick their nose in there and give us something, So we installed it. Like our first day install was always 2x2. And, we installed normal 2x2 and we just added condensed to some of our team period, and that's how we worked it really. So just so you guys can get an idea of how we install things, our first install is always going to have one movement in it. So in this case, we're shifting here, right? We're moving the X or the Z receiver to the other side of the ball. The next day, it could be a tight end flipping sides. The next day, it could be a jet motion where he's faking a handoff. Does that kind of make sense of how we install?
Yep. Coach, you still there? The old internet bug always hopping up on us, Matt.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we'll get him back here in a minute. If you're listening, apparently the only place that has good internet is the state of Florida, because boy, do we struggle with other coaches sometimes in other states, right?
It's been tough in Tennessee lately.
It really has been tough in Tennessee. You think Hype's taking all the internets?
Maybe taking all the bandwidth. What I'll say that's really creating some gaps and troubles for those linebackers trying to get over the top.
Yeah, they just struggled a lot. Yeah, we're good. We're just making the commentary about how Tennessee must have the worst internet in the world because between you and Coach Jones, it's going to struggle.
He had a tough time last week too. Shit, I'm sorry.
Wait, I was over here, Matt. I was like, is Florida the only state with good internet? What's going on here? Are we first in something?
Where did I get cut off? I was talking about installs. You guys hear that?
Yes.
No, we kind of. What were you saying, Matt?
I thought we did.
Yeah, it's basically.
I mean, I got the concept of it.
Each day we're going to add one motion, one shift of an install. So one deal.
Yes, yeah, that's right where you cut off. I mean, when you talked about one motion a day,
pretty easily,
and you cut off.
Because if you do it one a day, look at this guy's got the Miami Dolphins mug too. The cup. Oh man.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Coach, we do the all 22 film of NFL teams, and every week he's like, "Give me Miami."
I haven't watched them yet, but I got it loaded up, ready to go for this year. It's not working this year.
It's not working this year.
No. Well, maybe they got some cool ideas. That's all I'm all about. All right, so let me show you. Let me jump to our third down play that looks just like this. It's basically a smash concept, fellas. Am I shared?
No.
How's that? Nope. No, we're good. We're good.
Tell me you need the screen sharing permission again.
I think if I do it by a tab, it works. How's that? All right, cool.
There it is.
All right, here we go. All right, so this is just a smash concept. But this was a great one for us on third and medium. This is a 3rd and 3. We're backed up here. So let me get to, I'm going to slow-mo for you guys, okay? So our top outside receiver, he's going to come in motion here. It looks exactly like our outside zone play, okay? This rep here, we're not in pistol, but normally it isn't a pistol, okay? We actually get some bump. We have a safety run with him, so we do get some man here. But all of a sudden, he doesn't know where to go because he's expecting outside zone, okay? So he loses track of the smash concept. Corner bails. He takes the outside receiver. The safety runs with the outside receiver, and we convert a 3rd and medium here, backed up on our own end, and it's a pretty easy pitch and catch here.
Coach, talk about the
so we're sprinting out, man. It's 8. We call it 700 sprint out protection. We start in pistol. We flip the back pre-snap. So really, you're getting 2 movements here pre-snap. Once he's set, our outside receiver sprinting like it's going to be outside zone. Quarterback's first step, he should get depth on. And then, point of emphasis, we always want to square those shoulders up and throw downhill towards the target. So big 3rd down there. This is actually our number 2 guy that came into coming into the season. We lost our starter 2nd quarter of the first game of the year, which is always fun. But you know what? For high school quarter, we were so lucky to have this kid. Great teammate. Did whatever we asked him. Ended up playing safety when the starter came back later in the year. So that's just kind of the type of kid he is. All right. Any questions on that one, guys?
No, it makes sense. It's change up.
All right, so crush or counter is our next best play that we hang our hat on, whether we're in, 11P 2x2, whether we're going, GT counter, okay? But now we're in a 11P 2x2 condensed set here, okay? This is going to look familiar to you guys, okay? Because everyone ran it this year. I think everyone on Twitter or X, whatever we call it, they call it spinner.
This is going to be the
I'll get to that
GH
later.
bluff
I'm
reverse.
coming to that later, boys. All right. But here's
Oh, okay.
This is the spinner here. Okay, so it's going to look like a reverse. Okay, and we're just going to bring it back to the wing T here. Hand it back inside. Okay, and get vertical here.
Love it.
Break a couple blocks. Get 13 here. Okay.
Oh yeah. Matt, how do you feel about that one?
Looks familiar, I bet.
Love it. Yeah.
No, but it's so good, Coach. Like, look, because you're 2x2 condensed, you bring the guy in kind of like that orbit jet motion, it's behind. So now you hit the spin. Kids are worried about that. Like you said, you're pulling, your GT or GH here and coming back underneath. I mean, it's especially at the high school level, like you said, you're really stressing those linebackers. They better be reading their keys.
That's it, man.
They
That's
got
it. You got to
problems
read your keys, and there's so much eye candy that you're going to be in a tough spot. You're going to be in a really tough spot. Okay, here we go again. Go ahead.
Coach, did you guys pull this from anyone this year? Or did you guys just say, hey, we're going to do this? Or did you see it
study from last year, man. Texas and Miami both ran it last year. So, I mean, I don't know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, I always love to ask because, listen, people are creative, and I want to hear where they got it from. And obviously, Texas has been one that a couple buddies of mine are all in on. But I know it was this year, so you wouldn't have seen it this year and installed it. Green Bay ran it a few times this year when their starter got hurt, when it was Malik Willis in there.
And they
started running this a whole bunch.
Maybe a week or two ago, just a different formation, but same idea where, the quarterback's going to turn his back, wing T stuff, and all of a sudden you got, GY or GH, whatever you call it, counter coming at you. Here it is again. We kind of got better at it as the year went on, man. I mean, this is tough stuff for a team. Now that, we're getting blocks on the perimeter here, it's hard. It's hard to defend.
It's gorgeous when it hits up the hash at first, right, Matt? Then he breaks it out.
Love it. And you see the whole defense, all their momentum taking them away from the play.
Yeah.
Love that view.
Here we'll jump the back.
And that's the thing with condensed sets. Like jet motion, when they're further away, you can diagnose it for a second. But when it's tight like that, it's like the old school wing T, and you have that like, oh shit moment.
I mean,
like I better
you lose sight of the football. So as a defender, I mean, that's not a good feeling. I haven't played defense. I haven't been on the field playing defense in quite some time. But man, that's not a good feeling. We got a great kick block here.
No.
Oh no! I just saw the D lineman set up field before this hit even happens.
Man,
my!
Pull right, kick right, baby. This is as good as it gets right there. Tight end does a great job fitting it, and the running back does the rest. So he's going to house this one.
Coach, can we talk about your play side tackle here? Talk about your play side tackle and what his role responsibility is, because this is something that I talk to coaches about all the time. You have the B-gap defender. How do you handle it on power and counter?
When we get a 4-eye, we're going to flash to the nickel, or we're going to flash to the jack, depending on where we are on the field, right? So we're running it to the field here. So we're going to flash. We're just not big enough up front. Like, if Texas is doing this, they're washing that 4-eye down. They'll long trap the whole thing, But we just don't have the guys for that. We really don't. This was a bigger team than us, probably a little bit more physical than us. So we're going to flash it, and it's going to be the trap in that 4-eye. He's almost in a 3. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah,
that's something
great.
that we did. That's something we did a lot, because if you try to down block in high school football with a standard offensive tackle, that B gap's just going to get washed in. It's going to create penetration into the backfield. So it's easier to me just to outside release that tackle and let's trap the guy.
We tell our
inside.
tackles to flash and tap. Right, you see how he gets he almost high hat setting here to really invite that 4-eye to come up the field.
Yep.
You could see that's on purpose how high he is. That's on purpose, and that kind of gets that 4-eye to come up the field.
Yep, love it,
Coach. And I'm going to brag on your staff here a little bit. What I loved hearing come out of your mouth is, hey, we saw Texas do it this way. We liked the play, but we knew we had to make this one adjustment for it to work for us. And if you're listening and you're a young coach, because we do have a lot of young coaches, that's what you do with college stuff. You take it and you have to make it yours, right? And so it may be one adjustment. It may be like, hey, look, we can do all of this, except we probably can't down that 4-eye here, so let's do this instead. Coach, I love that. That's great coaching by your staff right there, and I had to point it out.
And you're spot on, because at the end of the day, the kids have to understand it, and they have to be able to execute it. So if they can't do it and you're trying to fit, a circle into a square, throw it all out the window. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can't set them up for failure, Coach.
All right, so you want the reverse, you got the reverse.
Listen, I don't think Dan Casey could tweet about the GH bluff reverse anymore this year.
No doubt.
He's made that play so
it's
famous.
Good, man. It's a great play for us. This was the first.
It's me and Matt talk about it all the time. I've never seen it lose yards. I've seen it 20-something times. It's never lost yards.
Exactly like what I just showed you guys, where we kind of orbit that slot. Okay, we just sent him. All right, we sent him first to make it look the same, almost like we screwed up, right? Almost like we made a mistake and we didn't get the handoff. Okay, and now we're going to hand it off like it's going to be that counter scheme, and he'll just spin back around and hand it to our wide out, and we pick up about 7. This is the first play of the game, guys. First play of the game, because we've ran GH counter so damn well out of this formation, and we knew that these guys were cute. Were watching guard, so this is perfect. Let's just run the damn thing. First play of the game.
Yeah. I mean, funny enough, the only game I've seen where people have defended it well, and I don't even know what game it was. It was an FCS game, and the guy was in man, and he ran over top to the other side of the field. It still went for 2 yards. I'm telling you, I haven't seen it lose yards, but I was like, that's impressive. This guy sprinted across the field, realized it was going to be a reverse, and then tackled the guy for a 2-yard gain. I was like, that's freaking impressive.
That's awesome. So and like what you mentioned before, like I loved our H, great kid, but here's the difference between how Miami, Texas, and Heritage High School runs it. This H here and their, the athletic ability these guys hold, they'll take 2 steps like they're running that counter, reverse pivot out, and be a lead blocker. Our guy just couldn't do that, which is fine. Like you said, like we got to do what we can do. So our guard pulling, I mean, look what it does to number 27 and 44. It's good enough. Okay, it's good enough. Okay, watch those guys. Okay, they're out. So it just ensures that we get that hat out there to the perimeter. I mean, look, here are your 2 lines.
And they have to be out. If you're listening, you're an offensive guy. Like, look, you can gap exchange and do a few things to leave one guy, but they both are not coming to play side here. That's just the way it works. When you pull 2 guys,
you're either
someone's got to go with
or you're reading guards. And if you're taught to read guards, you're not going to change 1 week the year you're playing Heritage High School. Like you're going to do what you do. Okay, so you got to take advantage of it when you can.
Yeah. I love it. Matt, I know we've talked about this play so much.
Oh, yeah. And it's, anytime you're building an offense, you want to make sure that you have these reverses and things built in to protect your plays. Running this protects counter. It gives the defense that freeze after you run it. Now you can actually go and run counter and make them second guess it. Hey, this could be a reverse.
Absolutely. And kind of like I think I kind of led off with tonight, like we don't live in this, right? We're a spread team. We make you defend the whole field, but you have to prepare for our tight game, our condensed game. All right. Now, this is probably my favorite play that I stole from Texas, but it's phenomenal, okay? It's going to look like outside zone. Our offensive line is going to run outside zone. The only 3 people not running outside zone is to our left, the X receiver, the H back, who's in front of the running back number 20. It's hard to really see him. Okay, and number 14, our slot. Okay, our quarterback is going to quick pitch it to number 14, and the mesh point is almost impossible for a linebacker to read. Yeah.
Jeez.
So I'll give you some from the wide so you can see it.
I mean, you even get a guy who gets a clean run through here, and he just
don't know where the ball is.
So quick,
I'm going to give you guys a better angle next, where you're seeing it from the defensive perspective. The quarterback does a great job shuffling with the mesh.
I mean, you don't. I know this is the side film, and I know it's you're probably not shooting in the highest definition camera, but Coach, you don't even see it.
That's not a run through, Coach. We left that guy. We left him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, that's you get what I'm saying, though. But there's
Yeah.
a guy there who could make the play
Yeah.
that's clean. He's unblocked, right?
Okay, here's the angle I was talking about where you're seeing it from a linebacker perspective here in the tight copy. And the kids love this stuff too, you know? They love this stuff. They're like, what are we putting in this week out of tight? What kind of condensed? Okay, that one we're supposed to block them. I'm going to pause it, right? Who's got the ball, right? I mean, what are you doing? I mean, who's got the ball? So,
yeah, they actually blitz and gap exchange on you, so that's why that guy's the end kind of was the nice. He goes wide and he's a contained guy, but still the guy runs right by the end. I mean, the end probably could have sniffed him. That's how close he was. So that's. I mean, these are great change-ups outside zone. They really are.
Now here's a 2-point play for the win. All right.
Look at the name of this play, Matt.
Here we go.
Stretch.
Looks exactly like shovel. Okay.
Love it.
Here's the only difference. The running back's going to be up about 1.5 yards. Number 14 is going to come for the handoff now. And you guys can probably guess what's coming here. Everyone gets sucked up. He's going to throw it. 2 points.
He's going to throw it, yeah.
Nasty stuff. Easy money, baby.
Easy money.
Now, this one we came up with.
And that's the key, is making it look like the other play, and so you get the same response, same stimulus out of the defense.
Yeah. No, but again, it's building play sequencing, and I think that's important, right? You do things, and you do them to set up other plays, and you do those plays to set up further plays off that. And you almost have to have 3 and 4 levels, because people can compare to one thing and one counter. Like, look, we're not, they coach on defense too. They're not stupid. I know every OC thinks he's freaking Einstein, but we do a little bit of coaching on the defensive side of the ball. But like you said, when you build all these layers in, and it's not even about you outsmarting me. You just have to outsmart a 16-year-old kid that I'm coaching, right? So I can teach it right all week long, and that kid's still a kid, and then you have that oh crap moment.
Absolutely. And, for my money, we see some great DCs here in Knoxville. We really do. It's a really well-coached area. So, and that kind of leads me into this, where this is the alignment where I thought we saw the most trouble in. Okay, so super athletic team. It's in the 3-3 stack is really where I thought was the best way to defend this kind of stuff. So we did have a play in for it in case we saw something like this. Okay, so our slot receiver to our right here is just going to do a bubble. Okay, and we're just going to read the linebacker, last linebacker to the box here, number 1. Okay, if he stays in the box here, we're going to throw a bubble. Okay, if he's flat-footed, we're going to hand it off. Okay, and we get some yards this way too. So I thought that was a good way to come at us with a 3-3 stack. We hadn't seen that yet. But when you get something like this, you got to try to get vertical. We got 2 hands on the nose here. We turn everything out. We're not blocking number 1 here. Our right guard and center are going to double to the mic. And we get enough. I'll give you the wide here. So again, we run this play at a 3-by-1, 3-by-1 normal spacing. We'll read the mic backer, the 50 backer. Okay, and now we're reading a 50 backer into the boundary here from a condensed 2-by-2 set.
Yeah.
Kyle, I remember the 2018 Jaguars doing a lot of this.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
2017, 2018, one of those years. Yeah.
You just trying to remember Blake Bortles, aren't
you?
Boat.
That was him. But they did a lot of the squeeze and bubble in the backside off.
Yeah.
All right, so here, guys, I'm going to give you one more here. This is a 3-by-1 condensed set. Again, this is going to look familiar. But outside zone, one of our biggest plays. So we're just going to flash the back opposite here. But first, we're going to get a motion for number 3. Okay, it looks like he's about to motion to become number 1. As soon as he stacks over that outside receiver, he's going to stop, put his foot in the ground. Quick catch, quick hitter here. In the red zone, plus 20 ball, and we get good yards out of it. Okay. Notice how exactly right.
Here's your
exactly
Tyreek
right.
play there, Matt.
Notice how when we flash the running back opposite, we don't even tell our quarterbacks to stick the ball out. We really don't. It's about the running back rolling over where the mesh point would be, and then our quarterback's got to be accurate in the upfield shoulder, obviously. But they want to bring it here. Good rollover. All you got to do is pause them for a half a second, fellas, and that's it. And we get good yards. You got one more of these. Same deal.
It's really about not letting the defensive end retrace. It's how, on defense, the way we teach him, if he can't retrace quick enough, you kind of lose that guy that's going to get the tackle for loss.
Yep. Sure.
So, Coach, I got to ask you a question. You're showing all these different things, and we kind of got into it this week. We did a big post on Montana State and their Q run game on Twitter. Why counter? Have you guys thought of looking at any of that? Because it does fit off what you do, where they bring both of those guys back across.
Yeah, we haven't got into that yet. Our quarterback is tremendously talented. So I'll give you the short on him, okay? Sophomore, okay, he started this year for us. He's the starting point guard on the basketball team, and he's just number 1 starting pitcher. I think he's the top 7 prospect in Tennessee for his class pitching. So we want to keep him upright, and
I was about to say, so
we have some other people in the building that want us to keep him upright too. So we got to take care of all the sports in our building. But no, he's a great kid. Gavin French, he's got a great future whenever he decides to play at the next level. But yeah, that Montana State stuff is awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, the YY counter to the running back got very popular in the NFL this year. We've seen it so much, where they're doing that. And I kind of noticed that in the very beginning of this year in preseason. I remember sending it to Matt. I'm like, what do you call this? I'm like, I don't even know what this is. I was like, it's kind of like counter. It's kind of like outside zone. Like, I don't even know what to call it. So finally, of course, the great namers of everything. And I think going back to it, I think it was Dan Casey called it YY counter. And I was like, that's what it's called now. We're good. Everyone stop. It's YY counter.
All on the same page there.
Look, I'm the same. Look, listen, I'm friends with Cody Alexander, match quarters and all that. If Cody tells me something's the name of something, I'm just like, that's the name of it now. We're good, right? And so it was one of those, but it was like YY counter. I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then Montana State adds in the Q with it. And I was like, oh, this is miserable. Like, people don't watch this. Don't do it if you're an OC. I mean, and that kid's incredible there. So yeah, I was really curious. We got some answers to those tweets, we tweeted out and some people responded. They're like, all right, how are you defending it? I was like, I don't want to talk about how I'm defending this. Like, good Lord. Like, but of course I stayed up till like 11 PM the other night writing an article of how I would have to fit it. And like you said, we're having to break some of our normal run fits by slinging our fits and doing weird things to do it. So I'm like, I wrote the whole article. I was like, this is how we'd stop it. And this is great. And at the very end, I was like, but I don't know if I could teach this to high school kids in a week and it would work. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, look, we could do all this, but if I'm going to be real, we're talking about at the high school level. I don't know if we'd be very, good at it. And then at one point they ran Q counter, like unbalanced Q counter. Okay. And then the running back was leading on it. And then he runs a rail off of it. And I was like, yeah, we wouldn't defend this play, guys. We just
did that last year.
Like, there's no shot.
We had a runner last year. We did that. We ran the rail with the running back, and it was some dirty stuff.
Coach, there's no shot. Even if you're a safety and you're coming down, you think he's lead blocking and you're trying to fit on Q run. By the time you figure out he's running a rail,
hope the referee sees someone downfield, brother. That's it.
That's what I said. I said one of two things you got to hope on this play. He drops it, or the quarterback tears his ACL trying to stop. Like that's it, guys.
Coach, I was just about to compliment you on coming on, talking about condensed formations and not talking mesh rail. And then we bring it up at the end. But awesome stuff, Coach. Everything I've seen people talk about condensed formation, they're talking mesh rail. Then you come out with the outside zone and GY counter, and it's
that's
great
what
stuff there.
That's what they're all expecting. Mesh. All right, well,
yeah,
I'm not going to run mesh. I'm going to run mesh in 7-on-7, and if I'm on the +10, that's it. But we love mesh, but there's so much more out of it. And people have been so creative with it that we love it. It's a great change up.
No, and that's why we love doing this podcast. Like you said, how many people talk about condensed sets and all they do is talk about past concepts. And to be honest with you, Coach, I thought that's what we're getting. I was fine with it. And then you came out and you're like, all right, here we go, outside zone. I was like, shit, we're cooking here. I like this. So this is fantastic, Coach. I love every minute of it. So it's a pleasure. It's such a good episode. So coaches, if you're listening out there, coaches, if you're listening out there, Coach Rubino is on Twitter. Let me pull his. Coach, what's your Twitter handle?
Give me 1 second.
Oh man, I gave him the. Oh, I got it here. It's Coach Rubino 88. So if you want to reach out to Coach, you can DM him on Twitter. Follow him, of course. If you're like some of our people and you're just a little bashful, feel free to DM us, or you can email us at theboardrillpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll reach out to Coach for you. Coach, we close every single episode with the hardest question that we ask. Are you ready for it? What is the coolest or most unique thing that you've been a part of in all your years of football? Does not have to be an X's and O's thing.
I mean, it's got to be coaching junior college football at Nassau Community College. We had so much damn fun those couple of years I was there. We were so talented. Rasul Douglas on the Bills was on that team. Ian Thomas of the Carolina Panthers was on that team. We had about 5 or 6 guys that went to the league on that team, and they were from all over the country, all walks of life. And I know Last Chance U, came out a few years after that, but we laughed and joked. Like, if there was a camera on this thing, like, I'm telling you, we would have won awards. It would have been one awards. But it was great, and I think our first year we went 10-0 and ended up number 3 in the country, and we brought a bunch of kids back. Another great season after that. But that was definitely the most unique thing I've ever been a part of. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, it's going around listening to people's stories. We've all been everywhere as coaches, and there's probably 100 coaches listening that have been GAs and moved to the high school level, or been at, like you said, at the JUCO level and all that. And there's a lot of great stories we can tell, and there's a lot of stories we can tell behind closed doors that I want to collect and write a book with one day. It's just going to be called the GA Stories.
Yep.
Where we're going to change all the names, and we're just going to collect GA stories from every coach and write them. It's just going to be like College A, here's what happened. So, well, that's awesome. So, Coach, we really appreciate having you on. We definitely got to get you back to talk about another concept in the future. But until then, we appreciate having you on here tonight, and we hope you have a good rest of the week and have a Merry Christmas.